Okay, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. Sorry for coming on a few minutes late. It does happen, my fault. Anyway, we're returning to a subject we started at the beginning of the week, talking about the former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, deciding to leave APC, and he stated his reasons. Okay, continuing from there, of course it depended on how down you were with the Vice President, perhaps. Some said it was good riddance to what kind of other matter. Other people said that, it depends on if people go with him. So we'll wait until then. Otherwise, it's no great shakes. That's on the one hand. Well, nobody knows exactly where the former Vice President is going, although there's a lot of speculation. They don't think there's any place else than PDP. But I don't know that he said so himself. Okay, now the governor of his home state, Senator Jibrila Bindo, he's a very tight, Atiku man. He's well known to be such. But however, he has said that, just saying for the record, I'm here to stay, quote unquote, I'll die in APC. Then Mama Taraba, Senator, Aisha Jumai Al-Hassan, as you know, the current Minister of Women Affairs, she created something of a stir when she had declared at one time that notwithstanding President Buhari, for instance, being in a race, if there was also her mentor, her political godfather in there, she would be voting for him. She, as well as the governor, reportedly met with the president separately at State House. The governor on his part said that he was just there for security consultations, updates, briefings. Not too sure exactly why Mama Taraba was there. But maybe Dr. Abayomi has something of an inkling or at least a speculation. I hardly know. Dr. Tunji Abayomi is a constitutional lawyer and he's a professional in politics. And he's a member of the APC as well. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for coming on, Dr. Abayomi, as always. So when you look at it, as a key member of APC yourself, so how do you situate all of this?
Well, first and foremost, there's a circle, political circle in Nigeria, which expresses itself whenever we're going into a new national election. People begin to move either way, okay? Some move out of...
Realignments, so to speak.
Some move into the existing dominant national party in power, and some move out of it. So there's nothing really absurd or unexpected about the movement of Vice President Atiku.
Former Vice President.
Former Vice President Atiku. Now...
Sorry, sir.
Yes?
At that point in the conversation, would it be the same for, quite frankly, anybody else in the APC movement?
It will be the same.
It would have been.
And some will actually go with him. Some obviously who are committed to him. You might say some who are hopelessly committed to him.
But what I really meant was that Atiku Abubakar as a person, whatever he's carrying by way of power, influence, reach, and all of that, and other APC top-notchers who also have their own circles and powers and all of that, if any of them, those ones, of which I would put Atiku in, if any of those had decided to make a move, does it still fall under what you said, that it's not really to be unexpected, given that an election is coming? It could have been anybody. It just happened to be Atiku.
It could have been anybody. The only reason why we're focusing on former Vice President Atiku is because of his status.
Yes, yes.
Now, but the principal issue is what would be the effect on the future? I think that is the important point.
On whose future? The party's future, Atiku's future?
We're not talking of three futures, you might say. The party's future, the nation's future, and the future of the mover. That is
his political future.
His political future. My thinking is that the nation has become wiser through what we might call tormenting experience in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I talk of tormenting experience, we were opened and led to see what we never saw before, to see the source, the foundation of the tragedy of our nation, the painful realization. And the great tragedy of the which we came to know. Now, we have had 14 presidents before Buhari. And all these years, since 1960, this nation has been struggling to be recognized and regarded. And one single issue that has made it impossible for this nation to know a new lease of life, that has caused what I call a revolution of rising frustration in the country, has been the issue of corruption. And no government, no leader has made it the central issue, confrontation. A difficult challenge, the most difficult challenge this nation has faced. Only one man, one leader, made it the central issue of his attack on the neurosis of the nation, and that has Buhari.
Now, I'm following you right up to there.
Yes.
But I want to ask, what does this have to do with Atiku Abubakar?
Now, that is the issue. That's why I'm talking of the future of. Now, Atiku Abubakar ideally would be a leader that to be regarded. But when you now read ratings in terms of the future, unfortunately, now let me first of all explain that Vice President Atiku Abubakar is a fantastic person.
Okay.
He was actually the...
everybody understands that.
Yes, he
What
was even
we
the...
mean is former Vice President Atiku Abubakar.
former Vice President.
Yes.
Well, you always call them Vice President.
Of course, I know.
Even though they were former.
I'm just talking because we also have an international audience.
Yes, he was in fact the chairman of the wedding of my first son. He came all the way from Yola. An exceptional, and I have known him.
So that's as close a friend as he
is. That's as
close. So you know this gentleman.
Yes, and when he was vice president under Obasanjo, I was always interacting with both of them. Even the challenge they faced in terms of relationship, I was part of it. But the truth of the matter is that the principal gauge for leaders today in this nation, the rating for leaders today in this nation is only one. What is his anti-corruption profile?
Okay.
That's how a leader will be rated in Nigeria from now on. Forget about everything, building of the road and all of that, because we know the source of the problems is that single major cataclysmic disorder brought on this nation by leadership. So the question is, if you now want to be the leader of this nation, we will now have to judge you by that incredible and important, all-important standard.
Which the new administration has brought into power.
Which the new
and Atiku Abubakar having been being a former vice president.
Part of the past.
Part of the past.
The
fallout of the past
yes.
that is trying to be fixed now
yes.
is probably how Atiku comes into it. Because
that is it.
Okay, before understanding this, how this formula, how it works,
yes.
I was going to ask that, isn't that, if we were to judge most of the public leaders we have now
yes.
by their anti-corruption profile and stance,
yes.
I'm wondering if there aren't too few that are actually standing up and speaking as forthrightly because, you know, the whole notion about the domino effect, people fearing the domino effect.
Yes.
Because the country has been the way it has been for so long.
Bastardized
far too
by
many
corruption.
people have benefited from
Yes.
corruption who we
Yes.
don't ordinarily see as
Yes.
corrupt people.
Yes, that's it. But you must appreciate something.
So I will therefore, perhaps you won't find too many that can
Stand.
pass that test of what's
Yes,
your
it's-
anti-corruption
Yes.
profile. Everybody
It's
else
like,
is being
yes,
mum.
It's like the biblical saying, if God should judge sin, who shall stand? If God should count sin, who
Okay.
shall stand?
Exactly.
But the point is that it didn't say if God should count sin, nobody will stand. It says, who shall stand? There's a difference between that. So now, Buhari has stood.
Okay.
Because the issue about this issue is not just a
And many
question.
people consider that he's just about the only man standing.
Fine, but the point is that the leader, if you read my book, State and Citizens, I said, contrary to the Western society, a leader in Africa has a greater potential to create great followers instead of the followers building leaders as in the West. And that is the character of the African cosmological thinking. That is why the father is important in the home. That is why the king is important in the city. That is why the leader is important in the community. Leadership has become the most important issue. And that is why this nation, it is what it is today. Because of leadership neurosis, because we had leaders without qualification, without standard, without values.
So therefore, I can therefore understand the question. So what kind of a leader is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? That might be a question
that
that
is
might
the
play.
question.
Okay, we're going to go on a commercial break now.
Yes.
We're going to come back and look at this. And of course, we'll open the phones as well, just to hear your perspectives on the conversation. Stay with us, please. Welcome back, Dr. Tunji Abayomi, constitutional lawyer, professional in politics, and APC member still in the House. And where we left it to go to break was to, you know, maybe erect a sort of a standard, the corruption index, or shall we say, the corruption profile. What is the anti-corruption profile of any given leader? And so we got to that place where, okay, Dr. Abayomi, I guess no Nigerian is going to be able to complain with that, that look, asking, sir, what is your anti-corruption profile?
Yes.
And you being able to answer. Say, that is the kind of leadership that Nigeria requires right now.
Right now.
We also said as we were going that, well, this whole matter of anti-corruption issue, your anti-corruption posture, there's going to be a lot of hypocrisy involved because far too many, quote-unquote, good people have benefited from corruption.
Yes, yes.
So when the time comes to speak up and say, no, this is absolutely out of it, not as many people as you would have thought are able to stand up. How much of a worry and how much of a concern is that?
Well, let us, obviously, there's a growing consciousness in this nation. We now know why we are where we are now. Why the future from 1960 suddenly disappeared. Why we are less of a nation than India and Malaysia, and so on and so forth, or Indonesia. Now, how much of a problem? It's actually has become a battle of the people against government that continues to underdevelop them. Now, when I'm talking of the rating, you now have to look at the leaders. You read Obasanjo's book. The government of Obasanjo was not an anti-corruption government, but he tried to build a nation to a certain level.
Yeah. Because I remember an interview of former President Obasanjo at the time, just before coming on to office, And the interviewer had asked him, General, look, if you try to fix this society, the corruption that you're talking about, you're going to have to step on toes. And Obasanjo had responded that, so let it be, toes will be stepped on.
Yes.
Do you think Obasanjo stepped on as many toes as he needed to?
He tried. But unfortunately, there were also steps he took that reduced the regard and the rating of his anti-corruption profile.
No, just one instance that you can remember off the top
For
of your
example, he ought not to have, the issue of third term shouldn't have entered his vision.
Yes, which he continues to deny till today.
That's one. The other issue, and I wrote to him about this one, election, corruption of election. This party was too much preoccupied with winnability instead of even losing and ensuring that this nation had a free and fair election. It should have been, he would have done a lot more if he had worked hard to ensure that, like Buhari is doing now, that it is more important to me that this nation has a free and fair election than for my party to win.
Okay. Yes.
That's another instance.
Because remember, he's quite frankly, whether he likes it anymore nowadays, I don't know. But he had said the elections were do or die affairs.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately.
For example, there was all this issue of election, those are some of the instances. But he tried.
Okay.
But you cannot compare, it wasn't the focal of his political leadership ambition as a president.
And now we're talking about the former vice president who was part of that administration.
He was not only part of that administration, but you read Obasanjo's, biography, what he said about Vice President Atiku. It was discomforting.
Okay, one moment. Let me let Raymond. Raymond has been waiting in Warri. Thank you for holding on, Raymond. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. How are you, sir?
Very well, sir. Thank you very much.
And good morning to Dr. Our Elder.
Yeah,
Dr. Abayomi.
Thank you.
Dr. Abayomi, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you.
My quick take on this matter. First, as a person, Atiku has the right to decamp to wherever he wants to go. But if somebody is saying the standard with which we choose any president for now, and that President Buhari met all those standards, the anti-corruption standard, that is fallacy, Uncle Yori, with due respect. Take, for instance, from the point 1966, where the military started taking over until when we became as decay as 1983. Was Buhari not part of that military arrangement? Then, even in this present state, has he been able to conclusively on your own say that he have fought the anti-corruption for and has won the battle? Look at the case of Mena. From the papers today, you can see that Mena said that the president is aware. That is an indictment of the highest order. And the president said he has ordered the sack of Mena. Those things are not the standard index to say the man has his true credential to fight anti-corruption. For me, it's automatically clear for me that even the anti-corruption war of 1983 the driver could just be to elect Idiagbon, which people might not even really take consideration of. Every member that has given credibility to APC that led the president to become what he is, 40% of them are the PDP people. If you take Bola Tinubu and just few persons out of APC, the rest of the persons are the people that jump the ship from here and there to get whatever they want. So, Buhari and Atiku are more or less the same person. We might not even know what Atiku might do when he comes, but God, who knows even if he will be better than Buhari if he had learned from the mistakes of Buhari that is happening now.
Thank you very much, Raymond. Raymond, I've got to interrupt you, and I want to thank you very much for calling in your perspective on the matter. Controversial, the way he puts it, quite controversial, but it's his prerogative.
But he doesn't quite understand the issue. A leader, we cannot judge a leader by what he will be or hopes to be or what he says he will be. Human beings don't change when they become cast as adults. We judge them by looking at the past and predict the future. When you look at Buhari, you now rate him. If we agree that the most important criterion to judge a leader in our time, as we look into the future of this nation, is their anti-corruption index. Then, in order to make a prediction about that future, we look at their past. So you now look at Buhari, you say, what was he like when he was governor? What was he like when he was head of NNPC? What was he like when he was a general commanding the armed forces? What was he like when he was head of state? And now, when we now look at his asset, when he wants to be president, we count what he has. And we look at what he was. And then we say, what is he like? It is on the basis of the past that we make a prediction of the future. That is the only way you can do it, because you cannot see the future.
Indeed.
You can only make a prediction based on the experience. So what do you say?
I hear you. Let me bring someone else in. Good morning, Yakub. Thank you for holding on too.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Shifiori, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, let me begin by saying that I dare to disagree with the last caller, even though he has the right to his own opinion, because this is a lifetime program. Everybody has his own personal opinion. I totally disagree with him for comparing Atiku Abubakar with the present president, in person of General Muhammadu Buhari. This is two persons, they are totally different from each other. Again, is that telling us that 45% of people that made the president to become a president in this country from PDP, I dare disagree once again. Because you look at CPC, you look at APC then, ACN then you will not say that 40% of them, no. See, you cannot compare the anti-corruption of General Muhammadu Buhari present like Atiku Abubakar. You are talking about minor on this program when we discuss another thing entirely. Minor issue, it is ongoing. And then we are all listening and we are watching. We know where it's going to head into. And then believing in you, we are going to get a lot of things from Minor. Minor is going to appear before the Senate. And then every Nigerian citizen will know the truth and the false. Because President Muhammadu Buhari, I know, is going to give him a chance to come and speak to the Senate President, to the committee that they set up to investigate the issue. For you to compare the allegation of Mr. President, and then he's supposed to sack him, because Mr. President will never take such thing. Thank you, and God bless you. I dare to serve with you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Yakub. It is the kind of program that it is, and I'm really happy that we had those calls back to back. Two widely divergent impressions about what's going on. Okay, I think you've made the point, Dr. Bayomi, about the corruption profile being essential for people to see and be able to therefore evaluate their leaders. But going to the stated reasons for Atiku, excusing himself from the PDP, from the APC, this whole lack of consultation allegation, and the fact that a lot of people in the APC are feeling that way. I think he even mentioned, he mentioned in a roundabout way Bola Ahmed Tinubu and some other people who he said they also had, grievances. But the only public utterance we've ever heard from Tinubu, as you know, has been quite conciliatory, and the way leaders speak, that kind of a thing. So all of that, what do you think about that charge? And also, let me throw in, I had a guest here on Monday. It was Fasi Yusuf, and he said that one of the problems he has with Nigerian politicians is that they don't invest enough. In other words, they don't have enough patience. As patience, ideological steadfastness. He said that's the problem he sees. What are your thoughts?
Well, in addition to lack of patience, the tendency to control the driver of the vehicle of governance, that's also a problem.
Okay.
I think you remember the Yoruba.
Consultation is one thing. Wanting to control is another.
Exactly. I would
let me go on a break so I can come and give you the time to develop this.
Yes.
That consultation cannot be seen as being in charge.
Yes. Okay. Controlling the driver and where he should turn.
Stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Okay, welcome back. And it was it's an ongoing topic, I imagine, but we're revisiting what we started out on Monday, the resignation of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and we're looking at, matters are following. Since then, by the way, people who have been very, very politically close to him, for instance, the governor of his home state, Senator Jibrin Bindo, as well as the Minister of Women Affairs, Mama Taraba, Senator Aisha Jumai Al-Hassan. These people, haven't made any. In fact, in the case of the governor of his state, he said that I'm here to stay. And that statement coming, very, very shortly after Atiku had announced that he was leaving, sort of gives you a picture. Not too sure what Mama Taraba said to the president, but we were looking at the complaints. One of the complaints of Atiku being that a total lack of consultation, in spite of all that he would imagine he and other people have done to put the president in office. Now, we have godfatherism in our psyche.
Yes.
People are godfathers in the polity. Not that they would like to be called that, but we know them. There are many. I think any way you look at it, Atiku was one, Bola Tinubu is another, and there are quite a lot of them, So that charge of a lack of consultation, I think you were making the point that consultation is different from
controlling the driver.
From controlling the driver
should turn the vehicle. Yeah, let us first of all appreciate something. No, the people of Nigeria did not elect their government to pander to the interests of any individual. Let us understand that. As a matter of responsibility, an elected government must act according to the wish of the people. Now, that's why in my letter to my friend, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I told him, as close as we are and as friends, I told him, democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people, not government of leaders by leaders or for the benefit of leaders. Now, let us now look at this issue of consultation.
Yeah, but why did I didn't want to open up another stream because I was going to say what you've just said is what Bola Tinubu believes and has been preaching. Yes. And that's the whole, it's always been about the ordinary person.
Yes, my disagreement with him, which is, I think we all understand, both of us understand it now, is that democracy is a process.
Okay.
So it leads to a certain process.
Okay.
And as much as possible, we should reduce influence.
Okay.
Okay. But the point I want to make is that talking about this issue of consultation, I don't think Vice President Atiku has ever complained that he wanted to see the president and the president didn't make himself available to him.
No.
I don't think he has ever complained that he wanted to discuss with the head of APC, Oyegun, and Oyegun treated him with disrespect. I don't think he has ever complained that he needed to discuss any issue with any minister.
Yeah, but he's not in the scheme of things, and it's not.
He's
not in the. If he doesn't feel that he's sufficiently in the scheme of things.
Who is in the scheme of things? The president, because he was elected. Who is in the scheme of things? The head of the party, because he was elected. Who is in the scheme of things? Members of the ESCO. So there is a different line. So now, those who are not ordinarily elected in the scheme of things, they put themselves into the scheme of things according to their needs. I worked for the election of my governor. He's my friend, and he's my governor. Now, should I now say that because I worked for the election of my governor, I should be sitting down in his office all the time, or be tailoring,
or should be compensated,
or be tailoring the cloth, the governor's cloth all the time?
Yeah. Or compensation, because a lot of political people are saying that we don't feel adequately compensated.
What is compensation? Compensation means that people are put in political offices. Who are the people put in political offices? The minister from Adamawa, Madam Taraba, definitely is a nominee of Vice President Atiku. I know how close both of them are.
Someone has been holding on all this while, and I hope that Femi hasn't actually hung up. Good morning, Femi.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
I'm so sorry.
Good morning to you.
I'm so sorry. Apologies for keeping you waiting.
No problem.
Sure. Go ahead.
I know that you have not seen that iron rope which I sent to you to bring
so sorry.
Ministers
so sorry.
to come and tell us what they are doing.
Okay.
But I know they will not allow you to get to you. Don't worry. No problem. What exactly I want to say is that when sickness in my own place, when they say you know the cause of the sickness, and then you are almost halfway in getting over that sickness. We know what the sickness we have, and we are getting closer to solving it. For that person who said the anti-corruption is this thing, if you look at the first 15 years of this civilian administration, you'll find out that anything like corruption was a family affair. It was never exposed. It was never tried. But now, within these past 2 years, we have been seeing from both camps, from the two camps, people are being called to order, and they are being charged. If it had been the issue of the past 15 years, even the secretary to the federal government, that issue would not be just it is a no-go area. So the man who is saying that the corruption, this thing, if he looks at it, it's not only affecting the people in the opposition, it's also affecting the people in the APC. We cannot say that the government is not doing well in corruption fighting. It's doing it on both sides. That is it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. For that. You sort of, he still wanted to go to another aspect of it, but I sort of understand that he wanted to say that. Look, I disagree with the gentleman who called in from. I think it was Raymond who had called in from Warri. But it's good to have both perspectives, the way it is seen in one. The whole matter of steadfastness, I don't know. Now that I think about it, could Atiku possibly remain in the APC if he retained what is thought to be his presidential ambitions? And I think that really is
that would be difficult. But before I touch on that,
sure.
One point I wanted to make earlier on is that political leaders in this country should do things anew and should change their thinking. The preoccupation of self-interest should be substituted for the preoccupation of people's interest. That is why leaders will be celebrated. What I'm in essence saying is that if today...
That's not what we do. That's not how we do things. People don't go into politics for the people's interest.
No, that is the whole essence of politics, to fight for the interest of the people.
But we know when you
But
see
in a system,
yes.
This is why I said they need to start to think anew.
Okay. Because
it is the same
one of the last reasons people go into politics is for the people.
Yes,
it's because I can't do anything else. And
that is it. The people themselves must rise to the challenge to demand from them to think of the interest of the people. That is why in this country, a senator will make over 20 million per month, whereas the workers, the people he represents, the minimum wage for the voter he represents is only 18,000, and it will take over 300 years of hard labor for that worker to make the annual salary of a senator that represents him. And it is this worker that elects him.
Exactly. That's how we roll.
It is this worker that elects him.
That's how we roll.
So now we should begin to rethink. We, the people of Nigeria, begin to rethink the type of leadership we want.
But people like you, activists like you, have been speaking like this for over a decade. Yes. Somehow it hasn't caught on. While you're thinking about that, let me bring Babatunde. Mr. Babatunde in the UK, good morning. Hello, Babatunde in the UK. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to contribute. Yeah, I want to contribute to the program.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. We are watching right from here, and we are happy with the program. Now, I remember when I was, in Nigeria about 10 years ago, we could see that things have really changed. We are in UK, we are at least a bit recognized more than before. Just when this president came, with the little that he has done, we are proud of him here.
Yeah, but Babatunde, Atiku Abubakar leaving the APC, what do you think?
Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah. Atiku is not to be recognized at all. What I said is what we should ask him is contribution to Nigeria. When he was the vice president, what has he contributed to the Nigeria? What has he contributed to? I didn't know him. He may be doing well in his own state, but not to Nigeria. Because what we are seeing now is a great transformation, which we are enjoying here. We want to come back home, but the issue of corruption, is driving us back. We are even afraid of kidnapping, because, it's a great thing. There are armed robbers, people, your family introduce us, my brother is coming from abroad, at least, it's going to get the whole UK to Nigeria. We are afraid, but now we are having confidence of preparing to, coming home.
Okay. Thank you very much, Babatunde. I got to interrupt you now. There's something of a delay. Really appreciate your calling in. Even Babatunde, yes. And from his accent, you can see he hasn't been away that long. But still, he began to think like an expatriate, because it's the expatriates that have this notion about, Nigeria, you could be kidnapped off the street. It's not as bad as it seems.
It's not as bad.
It's not as bad at all. But even our own local homegrown Babatunde is beginning to think like that.
Yes,
but he says things are different now. Yes, psychologically, he feels he can come home.
There are worse problems in Nigeria than kidnapping. There are worse problems in Nigeria than armed robbery. One of the worst problems in this nation is youth unemployment.
Yes.
Worse than armed robbery and worse than kidnapping, caused by corruption.
Yes.
How can a nation, when you have a nation that cannot even give employment to its best trained children, that hold the future of a nation, best trained in all the universities all over the world, our children excel. And after they have excelled, performed to the glory of their fatherland, they have raised the flag of honor for this nation through hard effort, through performance. They come back to their country. They cannot find job. Why can they not find job? Because of corruption.
Exactly, and misgovernance, right?
Misgovernance.
Waiting to join the conversation. Let me see. I got a number of names here. It's Mustafa in Kaduna. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I think Nigerians are really wiser. That the former vice president cannot just push us around. Nigerians are really very... Hello, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
Nigerians are really very much wiser politically now that we know the permutations and we know what is really right for us. The analysis have been very excellent from one of the highly respected Nigerians on this program that I respect, who is on this program today, Dr. Abayomi. Anytime I listen to him, I just want to be totally focused. He is giving us what many of us are really thinking about. The Atiku Abubakar, his movement, his political calculations, and what this government is doing to fight corruption. Even if there is no infrastructure at all in my town, which is Bida, although I work in Kaduna, if corruption is to be checked, I think we have some hope to really rejuvenate this nation.
Yes, hope.
And the likes of Atiku, moving from PDP to ACN to PDP to APC to PDP, I think it cannot give us the solution to this anti-corruption fight. Even the issue raised by one of the earlier callers, Mr. Raymond from Wari, that the issue of Maina and Buhari is being implicated, I think is not true. And just like somebody called in earlier and said, I think the issue of Maina, we might be getting closer to the fact very soon. And that maybe Maina is being used as a scapegoat to cover the dirty deals in the pension, the dirty deals of corruption as far as pension is concerned. And so I really think that as far as corruption is concerned, Buhari is really getting it right. With the support of the legislature, with the support of the judiciary, we have never had it so good that a government will not even just check its executives, but also checking the legislature and checking the judiciary, which is where the corruption is. Because if you have a judiciary which you cannot rely on, then the citizenry is definitely gone and dead. But the government is now saying that, look, it cannot be as rosy as you always have it, the judiciary. We must put a check. And President Buhari is trying to put a check to these kind of things, and I think we need to give the necessary support. And just like Dr. Abayomi said, look, we should be moving out of this. Look, I put him there, and we must control him.
Yes.
And just as Doctor also rightly observed, the Vice President Atiku has not told us that he got to the party, he couldn't get listening ears. No. All is saying that Buhari is not taking him along, meaning that he wants to control President Buhari, but Buhari has a date with Nigerians.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mustafa. Really appreciate your call. Dr. Bayo, I think that that was so well said.
Yes.
I picked out the line he made, which is that we've never had it this good. Yes. Now, we know that there are still a heck of a lot of problems to be solved.
We have never had it this bad, too.
Well,
in terms of economic challenge, we've never had it this bad.
Okay, so
we also have never had it this good in terms of hope.
In terms of hope and anti-corruption.
But it is like childbirth.
Yes.
The greatest pain a human being goes through is the pain of childbirth. If you measure it, ordinary pain is 1. Childbirth is about 5. I
understand.
So you have never had it so bad, but you also have never had it so bad because when the child comes, you have the smile.
Okay.
The pain goes.
Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, it's his prerogative. He can go anywhere he wants, eminent Nigerian, respected Nigerian, and all of that. But we don't know where he's going. Now, the whole matter about who he might be able to, who might, in sympathy, go with him. I think it was the APC national spokesman who had said that, well, it remains to be seen if indeed there are any takers of this particular line, then we'll know whether to be worried or not. But until then, no shaking. And I understand that the president sent a message of, shall we say, quote unquote, condolence to the chairman of the party on the, on losing. It was his sympathy. Yes. He was asking the chairman to accept his sympathy. Yes. That was a tongue-in-cheek message.
Well, if we are preoccupied with a new vision for this nation, if we are preoccupied with a new vision for this nation, nobody should leave APC.
Okay. Mr. George, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling, sir.
Uncle Yori, I think it is a sacrilege for anyone to come on air and pronounce Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as the same with President Buhari.
Okay, that was Raymond, right?
what yardstick did he use? Is it in family decency? Is it in opulence? Is it in lifestyle? Is it in integrity? So what yardstick did he use to come to that conclusion? It's good that we have the right to say whatever we want to like, but we want to say. But if you are coming to the public arena to make a statement, you should examine it in order not to ridicule yourself. I'm in total agreement with Dr. Abayomi's postulation that Buhari has set a standard which no future president can ignore anymore.
Yes.
You can't come now and tell us fighting corruption is not in your card.
Yes.
Nigerians will no longer take such a government. If Atiku and his group lie, let them go to wherever they want to go. I can tell you, Uncle Yori, that it will not make any impact in the governance of this country. We know them. People like the Senate President will follow him. People like Melaye will follow him. People like Shehu Sani, possibly. Those who will not be able to get tickets, who have been detrimental to the progress of their party in this government, they will follow him with a view to getting tickets from other parties. But I can tell you, I'm not a prophet, they will not get anywhere. So Atiku or no Atiku should not be a headache to any serious thinking person. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. I saw you were nodding mostly to that,
yes,
because I was looking at you gave us something of an insight into the APC, at least in your area, if not nationally. And I was going to ask, well, what are APC members thinking? What are they saying? How important is this?
The member, APC member is even strengthened
by the exit
yes, because
of Atiku.
we can concentrate on the vision,
okay,
instead of
the job
concentrating on the persons. You know that our government may be a government of law, of ideas, of values, and not of men. You see, there's something that a lot of political leaders don't appreciate, don't understand. Buhari, what Buhari has set in motion, Buhari himself can no longer control it. What Buhari has set in motion, the revival, reformation, transformation, transfiguration of Nigeria to make a Nigeria a great nation, Buhari himself cannot even retard it.
You know,
the people of Nigeria, they want to be respected. And the reason why they are not respected is because of their governments. The governments underdeveloped this nation and embarrassed the citizens of this nation for all these years since 1960. And it is because of corruption, greed, disregard of citizens. Now, a leader came who says, what I have, including the number of cows. The people ask, is this a president?
Is he a
Nigerian?
Nigerian?
No.
Is he a Nigerian?
Yes, he said, yes, I'm president, but I'm president of the ordinary people, of you, your president. So the people turned and listened to him. And they looked at his past, and they see his present, and they see his behavior, and they see he's facing the greatest challenge this nation faces. And somebody says he's leaving that man. Well, that is his choice. Good luck to anybody who wants to leave.
You know, I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to leave it right there,
yes.
Dr. Tunji Abayomi.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And giving us your perspective. Wow. So there you go. That's been our program today. You can see the repeat at the normal times. Tomorrow, Jones Usen will be in the seat as always, and then I'll come back, God willing, on Monday. I'm also going on vacation, but I'll tell you more about that on Friday then. Bye-bye for now.